All right, let me ask you something. When is the last time you sat back and you didn't focus on paying the bills, you didn't focus on getting through the week, but you actually sat down to plan your life and your home with intention? We plan vacations, we plan work projects, we plan our schedules, but often we don't step back to ask the Lord, Lord, what do you want us to plan into our spiritual life, into the purpose of our homes, and into the fabric of our homes? And that's why so many of us drift throughout the year away from the things that we intended on doing at the beginning of the year. Today, I want to give you a simple guide for how you can do an annual planning day. Whether you're single, married, or sharing a home with others, this is your chance to seek God, to dream, and to set goals for your year. So, number one is I want you to think on choosing your space. Choose the right space. Don't do this in the middle of chores. Don't do this while scrolling your phone. Pick a day, put it on the calendar, change your environment, and get different perspective. What am I saying? I'm saying don't just do this like it's a normal day. It's not a normal day. We're taking time to say it's a holy day where we're seeking the Lord on the year that is. So I'm not saying you have to spend a lot of money to do this. If you could take a weekend and go somewhere, awesome. Lex and I probably can't. What I'm saying is go to a coffee shop and get a water cup. Like go to a park and sit on and spread out a canopy and some blankets and bring some picnic stuff and do it at a park. Whatever, just get out of the normal and set aside. Don't bring your phones with you. Don't bring things like that. Bring calendars, bring journals, bring notebooks, and figure out a way to do this. If you have kids, if they're older, maybe you bring them into a bigger part of this. If you have littles, I'd say this probably is a moment where you bring them into a very small chunk of it later in the evening, maybe around a dinner or something like this. But if you're single, live by yourself, have roommates that are adults that are doing this with you, it's not just you, or you are married without kids or whatever, you could just focus on doing it just yourselves. But I do think if you have kids, this is important for the married couple to do, and then maybe have an element that you bring the children into as well, because they're not going to want to sit around and do a full annual planning day. You know what I'm saying? So choose the right space. Number two, seek God first. Start with prayer, start with scripture, start with worship, and remind yourself you are not just making plans, you're not just setting goals, you're asking God to architect your life and your home for the next year. That is so important. We are not ambitious people. We are spirit-led people. We are not people just that are planners. No. Matter of fact, do it in pencil, because we're trying to discern the will and the voice of God for our life, because we are his sheep. We know his voice. We follow his voice. We walk by the Spirit. We are led by the Spirit. So remember, seek God first. Now, I want to make a second note on this, is I would tithe the first part of your year spiritually, because it will be your best year if it's your best year spiritually. So I would tithe the first part of your year, and I would love to invite you this year to join us in 21 days of prayer and fasting in January. I think we're going to do 21 days of prayer and fasting twice a year from now on. We'll have that fall prayer and fasting leading into the school year, which I think is important that we did this year. And then we'll have our new year prayer and fasting. And I just think it's important to tithe the year spiritually through prayer and fasting, not to twist God's arm or do anything like that, pull his leg, but to build our faith. So seek God first. Number three, ask the right questions. You want to reflect and you want to look ahead. So what was the highlight of my year? Where did we feel close to God and where did we drift? You got to confront where you drifted and you got to celebrate where you felt close. Both are important, celebration and confrontation. What's one lesson God taught me this year? Okay, so what was a highlight of my year? What did I feel where did I feel close to God? Where did I drift? And what's one lesson that God taught me this year? Those are reflection questions. Before we move forward, we've got to look back. Now, as we begin to move forward, what part of my character needs growth? What do I want my life and my home to look like and feel like in 5 years? Don't rush this part. Write down your answers. Be honest. And make space for God to speak. And if you're doing it with a spouse or doing it with somebody else, have conversations around these questions. And then now, go into a space of setting your goals. I would set 3 kind of goals. I would set spiritual goals, personal goals, and home goals. So spiritual goals. I would say set my rhythms for the upcoming season. Set my rhythms maybe for different seasons as best as I can. Set my prayer rhythms, my Bible rhythms, my community rhythms, my serving rhythms. And I would say set my financial rhythms, because I think finances are spiritual. Because Jesus talked about money a lot. So I would say set your prayer rhythms, your Bible rhythms, your community rhythms, your serving rhythms, and your rest rhythms, things like Sabbath, things like weekly rest, and your financial rhythms. When I say financial rhythms, I'm going to say different personal goals here in a second for finances. But when I say financial rhythms, what I'm speaking to is I would set what I want my giving goal to be for the year. Lex and I have always, and we've learned this from different people in our lives, but we've tried to give more every single year. We try to tithe based off of what we want to see the Lord provide, not just tithe off of what He's already providing, if that makes sense. So we give above and beyond, and we try to plan that into it. We do have moments of sporadic giving. A matter of fact, this week we had a moment of spontaneous giving. That was a sacrificial gift for us. But we also really try to think of, hey, what do we want to give throughout the year? Where do we want to give it? That is something that we've always done, and that I give my wife most of the credit on that. She's incredible. Second is personal goals. How will I grow as a person? Talking about health, talking about friendships, talking about finances. When I talk about finances here, I'm talking about, okay, now what when it comes to bank accounts, when it comes to saving accounts, when it comes to investments, things like that, when it comes to retirement, things like career, things like hobbies. What are my personal goals this year? And I would say, I'm inviting the Lord in to say, Lord, what are my if I want to see these friendships, or I want to see this health, or I want to see this finances, or with career, Lord, am I still where you want me to be in career, or is there some adjustments you want me to make? In hobbies, Lord, what are you calling me to personally? Now, here's why this one's important, because when you can clarify the route that you think God is calling you to personally for a year, it clarifies what you're going to say no to. So, for instance, if in 2026, I feel like God is calling Lex and I to prepare personal finances for our kids' college at a higher level, well, now I know that means I have to say no to some of the luxuries that I said yes to in 2025. So when I know what my goal is, it clarifies what I'm saying no to. And I think that's important on the personal side. It's also true on the spiritual side too. But it clarifies what I'm saying no to. And when it clarifies what I'm saying no to, what I want you to understand is now I can begin to map my yes. And this is true on all of them, but I can begin to map my yes. And I can begin to break, let's use a health goal, for example. If I want to lose 30 pounds next year, now I can break that down into like 4-week chunks. Well, how many pounds do I want to lose in these 4 weeks? And then how many pounds in these 4 weeks? And then how many pounds in these 4 weeks? So that I can map out also my yes. I know what I'm saying no to. Ice cream. Hello. I know I'm saying no to this. And I know I'm saying yes to this. I'm saying yes to losing 2 pounds every 4 weeks. Hopefully that makes sense. Number 3 is home goals. What's the atmosphere of our home going to be this year? How are we going to be organized? How are we going to invite people in? How are we going to be hospitable? Those different types of things. And just keep it realistic. Choose 1 or 2 key goals in every area that you feel like the Lord is calling to. Remember this, the goal is not perfection. The goal is direction. I'm trying to get the direction of God on my life and head in that direction. I'm not trying to be perfect. And finally, end by committing it all to God. Pray over your notes, write down a theme or a verse for the year or a vision statement for the year, and maybe even post it somewhere in your home so it reminds you of the purpose. And here's the truth. Healthy lives and holy homes don't happen by accident. They happen on purpose. And when you take one day a year to pause, pray, plan, you set yourself up for a year of clarity, for a year of intimacy with God, and for a year of kingdom impact. That's what we're after. So remember, what you're doing is you're setting the direction. Don't get hung up on it being a perfect day or being perfect plans or anything like that. Get hung up on, Lord, what is your direction for our life? So grab your calendar, pick a day, plan your first annual retreat. Whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're living with friends, I promise it will be one of the best investments you make in your life and in your home. We'll see you tomorrow for part 3 of Holy Homes. I am fired up about tomorrow. Y'all want a taste of tomorrow? Let me give you a taste of tomorrow. Let me pull it up right here. Ready? Here's where we're headed tomorrow. Your home is on loan from God, and he's not asking you to treat it like a hotel for comfort. He's inviting you to steward it as an embassy of heaven. Come on, somebody. All right. We love you guys. Just keep showing up. We'll see you tomorrow for church. Peace.